But it's not going to be an alien invasion of intelligent machines to compete with us. This is really emerging from within our civilization. These intelligent machines will go inside our bodies and brains, keeping us healthy from inside, dramatically extending human longevity, going inside our brains through the capillaries, and expanding human intelligence. And I'll leave you with one last trend, which is we're really the only species that goes beyond our limitations. And when our genes evolved, it was not in the interest of species for people to live past child rearing. So human life expectancy was about 25,000 years ago. And it was 37 in 1800. There were no sanitation systems, so bacterial infections were rampant. There were no antibiotics, so many bacterial infections were fatal. Schubert and Mozart died in the 30s, and that was typical. Life expectancy was 48 in 1900. And it's now approaching 80, but it's going to go, this process of expanding human longevity is going to go into high gear when we really master the information processes underlying biology, and we reach the full maturation of this biotechnology revolution. And according to my models, within 15 years, we'll be adding more than a year to remaining life expectancy, not infant life expectancy, but your remaining life expectancy every year. So as you go forward a year, your remaining life expectancy will move on away from you. So if you can hang in there for another 15 years, we may get to experience the remarkable century ahead. Thank you very much.
Ray's on a very tight time schedule, so he's only got time for a couple of questions. So, right over here.
If there was something I didn't cover.
I'd like to ask you what you see as the biggest obstacle to the vision of the human future that you've outlined tonight.
Well, I think the trends are pretty inexorable. I mean, you saw computation through the 20th century. There were a few incidents in the 20th century, like 2 world wars, the Cold War, the Great Depression, and 100 other wars, and all kinds of human history that really did not make a dent at all in these progressions. There are dangers, though, and there are existential risks. For example, there are 3 major revolutions that I talked about, which sometimes go under the letters G and R. G for genetics, which is this whole biotechnology revolution, reprogramming biology, and for nanotechnology, where we can reprogram matter and energy at the molecular level, and R, robotics, artificial intelligence. And they all have tremendous benefits, which I've talked about, but they also have downsides. The downside that we're facing right now is from G, being able to reprogram genes. In a routine college bioengineering lab, you can take a biological virus and reprogram it and change its genetic code to be more deadly, more communicable, more stealthy. And this is a significant danger. The knowledge and tools to do this is more widespread than the knowledge and tools to create atomic bombs, and it could be much more dangerous. Bill Joy and myself wrote an op-ed piece, if you can put up the slides again, in the New York Times a few months ago, criticizing the government for putting up the 1918 flu genome on the web. Now you can just download this from the web, and this is pretty dangerous information. The reason it was put there is because the scientists who are trying to protect us from bird flu need this information, because the 1918 flu was a bird flu. So my response is, okay, give it to those 300 scientists with some confidentiality provisions. We don't have to make it available to everyone. I think the answer to this situation is we need to protect particularly dangerous information like this. And we also need to develop the defenses. I made a proposal, and it's in this op-ed piece, and I also advise the Army, because I'm on the Army Science Advisory Board, and the Army is responsible for bioterrorism protection, on developing a rapid response system where we can use RNA interference to stop biological viruses. We could have an RNAi medication for any new virus within a week. It took us 5 years to sequence HIV, 31 days for SARS. We can now sequence a virus in a day or two, and we could in a week or two have a response, but we need to put a rapid response system into place. And an area where we've done that well is in the area of software viruses, because that's a new self-replicating pathogen that didn't exist 30 years ago, and we have a rapid response system. A new virus appears within 24 hours, it's captured, decoded, reverse engineered, a defense is created and virally spread out on the internet within a day. And we need to do the same thing for these other dangers. That's really the response. I'm optimistic that these existential dangers won't stop these progressions, but I'm not as optimistic that we won't have painful episodes. We certainly had a lot of them in the 20th century, and I'm hopeful that the 21st century can concentrate more on the promise of these technologies, and we will need to experience less the peril.
I'm sorry that we don't have more time for questions, but he's got a plane to catch, so I'm trying to keep you on schedule. How about a big hand for Ray Kurzweil? Is that awesome?
So happy we alive, we together can survive. In our hearts we